What's up, y'all? Welcome to the On the Come Up podcast, where creative entrepreneurs share their come up journeys that turn their passions into success. I'm your host, Kimberly, so let's get started. What is up, guys? Happy New Year. Hope you guys are having a good New Year so far. Today we are here with Mbazi. Mbazi is a multidisciplinary creative, and if you're asking what is that, we'll get into it in just a second. Mbazi, welcome. How are you?
I'm all good. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for being here today.
I appreciate you having me here.
Yes, of course. So, tell us, what is a multidisciplinary creative? Like, how do you personally define that?
For me, it is, I basically do a lot. And most of the time when people ask me what I do, if I'm just trying to keep it short, I'll just tell them I'm a creative. But I'm a photographer, videographer, designer as well. I creative direct, and also now I am tapped into like AI. So I do a lot of AI visuals, AI creatives as well, which is technically called a creative prompt engineer. So yeah, I wouldn't put like one title on what I do, but I do pretty much do a lot.
What came first?
Photography.
Photography?
Yeah. Started off as a photographer, and basically I grew up in a creative household. My dad was a photographer. My mom's a fashion designer, so I kind of grew up around art itself. And I've always been in love with the idea of just like creating visuals and stills and basically being able to tell a story within an image. So like I just gravitated to photography. I started that about like 10 years ago.
Okay, so you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, I'm 11 years in.
11 years in? Wow.
That's
a good time.
Yeah.
When did you realize like you weren't just someone who like knew how to take photos and videos?
Repeat that again?
When did you realize like you weren't someone that knew how to just take photos and videos?
I've always had a bunch of ideas and things that I wanted to do and like pursue. And I think at one point this is during like Tumblr days, I wanted to, a lot of the people who I gravitated to and who I followed, they called themselves creative directors, and I had no idea what that term meant, so I just wanted to do whatever it is they did, like, which was like basically coming up with ideas and concepts and bringing it to life. And at the time I knew that the fastest way to getting to being creative director is being able to have understanding of what it's like, how to be able to create that, rather than like just relying on, coming up with ideas and concepts and relying on other people to create it. I wanted to, pursue it myself so I can have understanding of how do I bring these ideas to life. And, in the future, I would have just a better understanding on what it takes to creative direct like a project, because it's then it will be easy for me to tell someone, hey, I need you to create this, because I know exactly what they would need to do to be able to create that. So so from photography, I started doing visuals and I tapped into videography. And then from there, I went through a phase of wanting to make beats, because I wanted like the instrumentals in my videos to be stuff that I produce. And then just basically started tapping into everything that I had love for and a passion of as a fan.
So you're used to being behind the scenes, right?
Always, yeah.
So how does it feel like now?
This is new for me. Like this is just being in front of the camera is something that I've never like kind of been comfortable doing. Is like I'm always, as I mentioned to you earlier, like I've produced podcasts before. I'm used to like directing or being the person with the camera. So This is new, but like I want to start tapping into, this space and being able to tell my story, because like I feel like my purpose and goal is to inspire people. And I've only done it one way, which is like, creating visuals and images or stills and storytelling that way. But I want to be able to like finally, just like basically tap into
Mm-hmm.
it this way as well.
I love that. So, I know you have like, would you call it I don't know if you call it like a saying or chase the vision, not the money, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you, like in real life?
Well, for one, I have a creative agency called the Vision Studios, and basically, pretty much every single project that I do start or come up with is I'm kind of telling my own story in a way. So the Vision Studios is just basically everything that I create goes underneath, my creative agency, the Vision Studios, and I used to make merch and shirts years and years ago, which was around like celebrating like visionary icons, and with Chase the Vision, Not the Money. I was working at a job for about 3 years, and I found myself just like it was a creative job, which was good because like I learned like probably the first like year and a half I learned a lot from working at that
Mm-hmm.
place, and at some point I just felt like I was just I felt lost. I felt like because it was a creative job, like I felt burnt out because I was using all of my energy for work, and yeah, like when I would get home, I'll just be too tired to create. I didn't want to. I didn't have the energy to, and I found myself like kind of doing all of this for a job, And at first it felt good because I was learning. And like I said, at some point I felt like I kind of outgrew that position. So I knew at the time I wanted to get back into making merch, um, and I think I saw that saying somewhere on IG, and it hit and it connected with me instantly. And I was just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna make this shirt for me, and to just remind myself like what I'm doing this for. I shouldn't be doing this for a paycheck. I shouldn't like. It's good to. I'm not saying don't work or not to
Right.
have a 9 to 5, but like, um, yeah, as long as you're somewhere and you're learning and you can like take away from that, that's a plus, and that's great. But remember your mission, remember your purpose at the end of the day, and yeah, like this has kind of been. If you see me outside, I'm probably wearing a shirt. Like this is my uniform over the past year. Like so, to remind people that to do the same. And this is like probably the first like shirt or product that I've made that um, I consistently get people, stopping and like complimenting the shirt because it's not a crazy design. It's just simple phrase, but it can connect with so many people. It doesn't matter if you're creative. It doesn't matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, focus on your purpose, focus on your mission, and yeah, don't get distracted by, you know, spending your whole life for a paycheck.
I love that because I feel like everybody needs that little reminder
Yeah.
here and there,
Yeah.
How much of your work is planned versus like in the moment?
Now, um, now I try to plan a little more. I've always kind of been a spontaneous
Mm-hmm.
person, like in the moment, especially back when I used to do, uh, when photography was my thing. I would I, just in that moment, I'll think of an idea and I'll hop on IG and I'll just start DMing like subjects, or not subjects, but models
Mm-hmm.
or people that I saw, they probably never modeled before, but I'm like, I feel like this person would be really good in front of the camera. And I'll just DM them like, hey, I have an idea. Do you want to shoot? Um, so I try to, I think one thing that helped me working at that 9 to 5, it taught me just organization and planning, because I was working for like um, a popular influencer, so when it came to and creating for him, like I had to learn just more structure and just being a little more organized because now I'm working with a team and it's not like a one man band, which it usually is for me. So yeah, I took away a lot from that and just started to plan a little more, which has helped me a lot. So it's not just like all over the place. I'm not forgetting certain things when I am creating or doing a shoot. Like I have a whole shot list, a concept plan, a brief, even if it's just for myself and no one else is reading this, just so I'm aligned with what the end goal is and what I'm actually trying to do.
Oh, I love that. Is this what you're doing like completely full time now?
Over the past month, yeah. Been full time in just focusing on the Vision Studios. Like next year, my goal is to really tap into being a creative director. So as I mentioned, I've been like a one man band for a while. Every here and there, I'll like outsource, some work, but. And now I want to get better at like working with teams, and because I'm a one man band, like a lot of times it takes much longer to finish projects than in the past. Like I love the idea of like being able to do everything myself. Now it's just like I just want to move on to the next thing, and I don't want to sit on a project for too long. So yeah.
How do you keep your work like authentic in an industry that often like pushes trends?
That's a good question. It's weird. I don't want to just say like just being myself, but I've always been like I've always thought outside the box. Like so I don't think there's anything wrong like with trends. I think there's something that you can learn from that, because I've worked in like social media too for years and years, like as a social media manager and all that. Like I have understanding of why things connect with people. When it comes to like trendy content, just like paying attention to like visual hooks, like the copy, the hooks, like the songs, and learning from that and having understanding on why did that work. So yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with like the super trendy stuff. Like I'm not someone who creates that type of content, but I do pick from it for sure. Whether that's like I said, mostly the visual hooks. But to answer your question, I'm inspired by people who just create, I look up to Virgil, and at some point someone could say, oh, like, he, when people usually get popular, like they kind of just feel as if that person is like either saturating the space or whatever. But yeah, I don't know, I just try to be myself, to be honest. And
Yeah.
I think the things that stand out are things that are different to me. Yeah.
Have you ever turned down a project that didn't align with your vision?
I've been doing that a lot more, like over the past year. And back to the shirt, that's something that I found myself doing last year, where I was just taking every project, just because I was trying to make some money. I had a goal that I was trying to make, at least a certain amount per month outside of work. Um, at least like bring in like half of what I made at work outside of work. So at the time, I was just picking up whatever. And at some point, I was burnt out around like last year in November. 2004, November 2004. Um, and after that, I was just like, okay, I need to just focus on things that align with my vision. And yeah, so sometimes if the money's right, I'm taking it. Like I'm not going to, because right now I'm just trying to invest in what I'm trying to build right now. But for the most part, if they do hit me up, I, in my eyes, if they hit me up, they see what I do, and it would somehow align with what I'm doing.
So you pick and choose.
I pick and
Yeah.
choose for sure.
Has there ever been a time where choosing the vision over the money was difficult?
Um, yeah, for sure. As I mentioned, I've turned down some projects, turned down some money, but I've taken projects that uh, I wasn't getting paid for, just because I aligned with what they were trying to do. Like I just wanted to be a part. For me, like it's as long as if I'm in the room, that's a plus. So yes, sometimes I mean, at least recently, no, it's no issue for me because pretty much everything that I'm doing is aligned with what I do. But in the past, yeah, I've always kind of focused on just chasing, that vision and purpose. And I've went through a lot throughout this process, so um, it's tough. Basically, a few years ago, uh, was broke, damn near was homeless, hopping from house to house, and just being able to kind of get out of that. And even at the time, I was still positive, which is it's funny looking back at it now, just because like during that time, like I could have spiraled, but I think I just knew that all of this is happening for a reason, and eventually I'm going to get out of it. But at that time, I could have easily just, took whatever, started working, and been able to, make some money. But I was just focused on what I needed to do, and yeah,
For it to get you where you wanted to be.
where I wanted to
Yeah.
be. Like I never really, when I did start my creative journey, I never had like a plan B, which I'm not advising to like or suggesting that to anybody at all. But it was like by any means I'm gonna make sure that I make this happen, and which has been tough. But I think now I'm more confident than ever. So even when stuff does happen in my life, like I've have so many examples that I'm gonna get out of this, and when I do get out of it, that next chapter, it feels like a leap from where I was. Like I never like went back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I love that. You just kept going forward, no matter what's like step back.
Yeah.
Do you believe that the like chasing the vision eventually brings you that financial stability?
Yeah. How I view it is like the money's gonna come. As long as like I watch a lot of interviews of entrepreneurs, creatives, just successful people, and they all kind of have the same story where they've been grinding for years and decades. Like, we don't see that though, but they pretty much all consistently or all say the same stuff. Um, so for me, as long as I focus on, what I'm trying to do and where I'm trying to go with this, I know that success is there. And for me, success doesn't necessarily mean being rich and wealthy. It's just being able to um, do what I love doing, living comfortably, and traveling, to be honest.
Have you heard that saying where like they say it takes like a decade to like be successful? How do you feel like about that?
Uh,
Because you've been in it for 11 years now, so you're
yeah.
kind of like past your decade.
Yeah, I think it. I think when it comes to, once again, success, it really just depends on the individual what that is, what that means to them. For me, I personally feel like it's weird. Uh, I have a lot of times I'll get like DMs from friends or just messages, or my friends will call me and they'll tell me like how proud they are of me and my journey and all that. And um, like I'm thankful when I hear that, and it does remind me to be in the moment. But like for me, I feel like I'm still like 10 years away from where I'm actually trying to
Right.
get. So
I feel like the more that we pray for what we want, and then once we
yeah.
have it, it's like we always want
What?
more.
Yeah, I don't think that that's another thing like I realized too with successful people in general is that I don't think that I'll really ever be satisfied with, because I know for sure I'll always want more, especially to when you start when yeah, I just feel like I'll always want more.
Yeah, I feel like we have a tendency to like, because we want to become better, so it's like,
Yeah,
okay, give me more, like, you know.
and exposure is going to do that to you as well. The more you start seeing stuff, you're like, oh, what does it look like on the other side of this? Yeah, so.
Right. If you could go back and talk to your younger self, what is one thing you would say?
Hmm. um it's funny, like, cause part of I feel like my purpose is to inspire people, but I think where that stems from is wishing I had, someone that was inspiring me, throughout this journey. And because I feel like I've kind of been doing all this by myself, which obviously, but like, so to answer your question, I would say just trust the vision. It's simple as that. Like, and it's okay to fail. You're gonna learn from all of this, and yeah, just trust the vision. That simple.
Yeah. Like, keep going.
Keep going.
Like
Yeah.
don't stop.
Yeah. Don't
like no matter
stop.
how like you can go slow, but just don't stop.
Yeah. You know what you want to do, and you know what it takes. Actually, you don't know what it takes to get there, but the more you just focus on that and do what you love doing, regardless of, even if you're misunderstood, like you will get there.
What's the next vision you're chasing right now?
As I mentioned, I started kind of all of this because all the people I was inspired by were creative directors, and um, and I feel like these past 10 plus years was me learning and understanding what it takes to be a good creative director. And my focus all of next year is creative direction, and is doing more projects around that. I've already told a bunch of my friends that either hit me up for projects, like, starting next year, don't hit me up to take photos at your event. Like, hit me up about coming up with a concept for your event, like the storytelling of what you're trying to do, and all that. So yeah, that's my focus this next year, and hopefully next year would be I, how I look at stuff is like projects for me. Like every year is like a little project. And next year is going to be that creative direction project to where I will be able to showcase what I can offer in this space and what I can do for people, and basically being able to get the types of jobs that I really, really want, and using next year, or sorry, this year.
Yeah. You mean 2026.
Right, 2026
Yeah.
as a my portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have any projects lined up for the year?
Yeah. I mostly really tapping into AI visuals. I want to establish.
So what is that exactly? Like, are you talking about like people or like graphics?
So basically, over the past few months, when people started, like when AI visuals started to or creative started to become a thing, like at first I couldn't stand it. Like I hated it, especially I'm pretty sure you've seen the talking gorilla walking
Mm-hmm.
and like talking babies and stuff like that. And I'll never forget going to this event. I forgot the name of the visual artist, but um, I went there and it was like I walked in. It was really dope. It was like I think it was like over 150 people there, and there was like projectors. There was at least 4 projectors, and he basically had his short film showing on the walls. And I remember thinking, like, probably like 5 seconds in, I, I noticed, I'm like, oh, this is AI. And it stood out because it looked like it was photography that he's done, that he made it, he utilized AI tools to bring people into a whole nother universe and a world. And when I saw that, I was just like, oh, this is amazing. Like, it kind of shifted my way of thinking about like AI at the time, of like, oh, if you just put it in like some dope people's hands, like they can really come up with, some amazing ideas. So, yeah, so I started doing that, and I started a creative like research project thing uh, called the Vision AI. And I was just like, I'm in love with sci-fi and Afrofuturism. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to create visuals around this concept and this theme. And I want to see like if people gravitate to it. So yeah, early this year, created a page on TikTok, and I think within like a couple months or a few months was able to grow it to like 10,000 followers. And just like reading the comments and seeing how like it inspired people, kind of helped me with, because I was posting like 7 times a day, for 3 months straight. And it taught me the art of storytelling, even if it's like a 15-second clip, like how I can gravitate, or connect people with songs and emotions and visuals. Like, so I was using it as like just research, seeing how people connected to this type of visual or that visual. And yeah, so I forgot I've just been.
It's okay, but I'm glad you said that you didn't really care for AI at first, right? Because I know a lot of people
still
don't.
Yeah.
Right, but you went.
Anytime I usually bring up AI in front of people, like
Yeah.
I can see it in their face, but
But you went to that
event,
and it changed your whole perspective. Like
yeah,
you were able to learn more about it, which I like that you were actually like okay, let me you
yeah,
were able to learn. So I like how you're like it kind of changed how you felt. Like a lot of
yeah,
people just see it on Instagram or TikTok and automatically they don't like it, but then you
yeah,
were able to go dive deep.
yeah, and understand it. Like, and to be honest too, if it was promoted, if the event was promoted as like, oh, AI artist, like, I probably wouldn't have went. It's because I probably wouldn't have understood. But I had to ask him, during, because there was nothing in there. But even in the visuals, it was a creative or visual artist who had these ideas and came up with something amazing and dope that was curated. Like, so yeah, I just being there in that moment, and that's the art of like being around like other creatives, is you never know what's gonna spark something in you. So if it wasn't for me going to that event, I probably would have never like really tapped into AI visuals this year. And so from there I've been able to do some really cool projects for people. Like, I've always had the ideas and concepts behind stuff, but probably just didn't have the skill set to create it, or it'll take me months to create something, where like for others that are professionals in it, it probably takes them a few days. So I think I view it as a tool, to get my ideas out, and consistently have ideas. So I think that's been like my issue throughout my journey, is like, how do I get all these ideas out without like letting them just, just wasting these ideas. So yeah.
So we're gonna play a little of this or that.
Okay.
Photo or video?
Video.
Solo creating or collaborating?
Collaborating.
Story-driven visuals or like purely aesthetics?
You repeat that?
Story-driven visuals.
Story.
Story.
Yeah.
And then concept first or visuals first?
Concepts first.
Concept.
Yeah, concept. Like, visuals for me, I need a reference. Like, so if that's the visual that you're referring to, yeah, it starts off with a reference, with an idea, which is mostly a movie or series, or it can be anything. And then comes, the concept.
So then visuals.
Well, yeah,
right.
Yeah,
that was the kind of visuals. Yeah. So one last thing, what advice would you give to someone wanting to dip in any kind of creative lane?
Don't doubt yourself. Just create. Just put your ideas out there. I'm someone who's an overthinker, but I see a lot of and know a lot of creatives who overthink, and that is usually what hurts them into like starting anything. Is like, oh, I'm probably too old, or what are people going to think about my work, or am I going to be judged? Whatever it is. Get out of that mindset and just create and do it. You will be surprised, that like there are people out here that will gravitate to whatever you put out, and that's all that matters. Like, you don't need to have 100,000 followers, or people willing to pay like a compliment towards something. That's a blessing. The fact that you're able to tap a nerve or a emotion out of someone, that's a blessing, and that's a skill. So that's all that matters. So just create. Go out and create and quit overthinking.
There you go. Well, Mbazi, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story and your journey.
Yeah.
Let everybody know where they can find you.
On Instagram, Mbazi, which is NINKAMBAZI. The Vision Studios on Instagram. The Vision Studios is the VZN dot studios. Mbazi and the Vision Studios.
Well, thank you so much. And YouTube fam, don't forget to subscribe, like, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Hey.